Your dog died 6 months ago. But last night you heard him bark. You're not crazy. Millions of people report the same thing. They see their dog's shadow in the hallway. They hear his paws on the floor. They feel something jump on the bed at 3 a.m. Science has a name for this. And what it reveals about grief will change how you see loss forever. When you lose your dog, your brain goes into emergency mode. Because he wasn't just a dog. 4 years, your brain created neural pathways dedicated exclusively to him. Brain routes that anticipated his needs. That read his body language. That released oxytocin every time you saw him. Your brain literally rewired itself around that animal. And now those pathways have nowhere to go. Here's what nobody tells you. Grief for a dog hits different than human grief. Because your dog was your routine. Your living alarm. Your reason to leave the house. Your only company on dark days. Humans fail you sometimes. Dogs never do. So when they're gone, you don't just lose a loved one. You lose your structure. Your purpose. Your emotional anchor. Psychologists call it disenfranchised grief. It's a pain that society doesn't allow you to feel completely. And here's the unsettling part. Your brain doesn't accept that he's gone. Neuroimaging studies show something fascinating. When you lose someone close, your brain continues actively searching for them. That's why you turn your head when you see a similar dog on the street. That's why your heart jumps when you hear a familiar-sounding bark. That's why you keep his collar, his blanket, his toys. You're not stuck in the past. Your brain is trying to complete a pattern that was interrupted. Let me tell you about Sarah. She lost Max, her golden retriever, after 14 years. 4 months she kept filling 2 water bowls. One for her, one for Max. She couldn't stop. Her therapist explained, "You're not in denial. You're in a divided reality. Part of your brain knows he's gone. But the part that lived with him for 14 years hasn't gotten the memo yet." The tears didn't come immediately for Sarah. They came 3 months later. At the supermarket. When she walked past the dog food aisle without thinking. And she broke down. Here's what psychologists recently discovered. The pain for a dog can be as intense as pain for a human. Sometimes more. Why? Because your relationship with your dog was pure. No unresolved conflicts. No cruel words to regret. No complicated relationship. Just unconditional love. So when he's gone, there's nothing to process except pure loss. There's no, "At least we said everything we needed to say." There's only, "It was never enough time." And this is going to hit you hard. Researchers studied people who lost their dogs. They found something surprising. It's not the day he died that destroys you most. It's 2 weeks later. When reality settles in. When you no longer have to rush home to walk him. When you can sleep in because there's no wet nose pushing your hand. When freedom feels like a prison. Because it turns out those responsibilities were your life structure. And now you're floating. But here's the twist nobody expects. Some people experience something called continuing presence. They swear they feel their dog still with them. It's not hallucination. It's not madness. It's your brain creating comfort through emotional muscle memory. That feeling that someone's watching you while you cook. Because he was always there, waiting for something to drop on the floor. That automatic impulse to say, "Good boy," when you get home. To an empty house. Those moments where your hand reaches for his head to pet him. And touches air. Neuroscientists call it phantom memory. Like when you lose an arm but still feel it. Except this is emotional. I met a man named David. Military veteran. 42 years old. Tattoos. Beard. The type who never cries. His German shepherd, Duke, helped him overcome PTSD for 9 years. When Duke died, David didn't cry at the funeral. He didn't cry when he buried his favorite toy with him. He didn't cry for weeks. Then one day he was watching TV. A commercial showed a dog bringing in a newspaper. Something Duke did every morning. David collapsed for 2 hours. His wife had never seen him cry. Not once in 15 years of marriage. But for Duke he broke completely. Because Duke saw him at his worst. And loved him anyway. Here's what science reveals about complicated grief. It has specific symptoms you should know. You avoid places where you went with your dog. You feel crushing guilt over things you did or didn't do. You can't talk about him without falling apart even years later. You refuse to connect with other animals because you feel you'd betray his memory. But there's another symptom nobody mentions. You start questioning if you were enough for him. Was I a good owner? Did he know how much I loved him? Did I give him the life he deserved? If these questions torment you at 3 a.m., you need to hear this. Your dog didn't need perfection. He needed presence. And you were present. Every walk, even the short ones. Every time you said his name. Every moment your hand rested on his fur while watching TV. That was enough. Dogs don't have impossible expectations. They don't keep lists of, you should have done this better. They live in the now. And in every now you shared, you were his entire world. That day you came home late from work and felt guilty? He was just happy you came back. That time you were too tired to play? He laid down next to you and that was enough. Your dog never measured your love in grand gestures. He measured it in small moments. And you had thousands of them. Now let me tell you something that will change your perspective. Psychologists discovered there are specific stages in pet grief. And they're not the traditional 5 stages you know. First stage, functional denial. You keep your routine as if nothing changed. You wake up at the same time. But there's no reason now. Second stage, the collapse. Something small breaks you. A song. A smell. A random moment. Third stage, irrational guilt. If I had done this differently, he'd still be here. Fourth stage, anger. At the vet. At yourself. At the universe for giving dogs such short lives. Fifth stage, silent bargaining. I'd give anything for one more day. But there's a sixth stage the books don't mention. The sixth stage is redefinition. It's not acceptance. It's not getting over it. It's not moving on. It's redefining who you are now that he's not here. Because you spent years being dog's name as human. Your identity intertwined with his. So when he's gone, you have to discover who you are without that label. And here's the beautiful and terrifying part. You discover he changed you permanently. You're more patient because of him. More compassionate. More present. He taught you to love unconditionally. To live in the moment. To find joy in simple things. A walk. A ray of sunshine. A hug for no reason. Those lessons didn't die with him. They became part of who you are. So when does grief end? Never. But it transforms. Psychologists call this grief integration. One day you're going to think about your dog and smile before you cry. One day you're going to tell a funny story about him without your voice breaking. One day you're going to see another dog and instead of pain, you'll feel gratitude that yours existed. That day doesn't mean you forgot him. It means you finally honored the gift he gave you. The gift of having been loved so completely by such a pure being. Here's the final truth you need to carry with you. Your dog wouldn't want his death to be what you remember most. He'd want you to remember the way his eyes lit up when you came home. That time he jumped in a puddle and completely soaked you. How he slept in the most ridiculous positions. His inexplicable obsession with that specific squeaky toy. The way he put his head in your lap when you were sad. How he made you go outside when all you wanted was to stay in bed. Those moments didn't die. They live in you. Forever. And every time you show patience to a stranger, compassion to someone suffering, or joy for something simple, your dog continues impacting the world through you. So if you lost your dog, if it still hurts to breathe some days, if people tell you, get another one, as if they were interchangeable, if you feel guilty for smiling, for laughing, for having a good day, listen to me. Your pain proves your love. And your love was real. You don't need permission to cry. You don't need a timeline to heal. But you also don't need to stay trapped in pain to honor his memory. The best way to honor him is to live with the heart he helped create. Loving fiercely. Living fully. Forgiving yourself completely. Because that's what he did for you every day of his life. Now it's your turn. Have you lost your dog? What do you miss most about him? Is there something you wish you had told him? Write it in the comments. Not for me. For you. For him. Because unspoken words weigh more than spoken ones. And if this video touched you, share it with someone who needs it. Pet grief is real. And nobody should feel alone in it. Subscribe if you want more content about the psychology nobody talks about but we all need to understand. Your dog was lucky to have you. And you were lucky to have him. That exchange was perfect. Exactly as it should be.